Let me ask you something personal. Last night, how many times did you wake up? Once? Twice? 3 times? Maybe 4? You shuffled to the bathroom in the dark, half asleep, hoping this time you'd finally be able to stay in bed until morning. But you couldn't. And the night before was the same. And the night before that. You've been told your whole life to drink more water. 8 glasses a day. Stay hydrated. It's good for your heart. Good for your kidneys. Good for everything. So you did. You drank your water. You did everything right. And now you can't sleep through a single night. Here's what nobody told you. It is not the amount of water you're drinking that's destroying your sleep. It's something far more specific. Something biological. Something happening silently inside your body, a process that changes dramatically after the age of 60, and it has been working against you every single night while you lay there exhausted, frustrated, wondering what on earth is going wrong. I'm Dr. Franklin, and today I'm going to tell you the truth that most general practitioners simply don't have time to explain in a standard appointment. There are 4 hidden water mistakes that are directly triggering your nighttime bathroom trips. 4 specific, correctable biological errors that most people over 60 are making every single day without realizing it. And here is what makes this genuinely alarming. Mistake number 4 is about what you're drinking before bed. That one most people can guess. Mistake number 3 is about when you drink, and it involves a biological clock inside your kidneys that almost nobody knows exists. Mistake number 2 has nothing to do with how much you drink at all. It's about something leaking inside your body while you sleep, and it is flooding your bladder from the inside. And mistake number 1, the one I've saved for last, is the most surprising of all, because it's not about volume. It's not about timing. It's about whether the water you're drinking is actually doing anything inside your cells at all, or whether it's simply passing straight through you. By the time we reach mistake number 1, you will understand your own body in a way that most people never do. And I'll be honest with you, number 1 is going to frustrate you, because it was completely within your control this whole time. And nobody told you. Stay until the end. Every one of these 4 mistakes compounds the others. Miss one, and the rest won't fully work. Understand all 4 together, and you have something genuinely powerful. Let's begin. Mistake 4, the wrong beverages at the wrong time, 2:30 to 8 o'clock. Mistake number 4. And this one catches almost every patient off guard the first time I bring it up. When most people think about what's causing their nighttime bathroom trips, they think about volume. So they start cutting back. Less water in the evening. Skip the evening cup of tea. Drink less overall. But here is what they completely forget. Not all beverages behave the same way inside your body. Some drinks, even in small amounts, actively interfere with your body's natural nighttime shutdown process. And if you're reaching for any of these in the hours before bed, you are quietly undermining everything else you're trying to do. Let me explain the biology. Your body produces a hormone in the evening called ADH, antidiuretic hormone. ADH is essentially your body's internal instruction to your kidneys as nighttime approaches. It tells them, the person is going to sleep soon. Slow down urine production. Concentrate what you make. Give the bladder a rest. This hormone is fragile, and it has 2 very specific enemies that millions of people consume every single evening without thinking twice. The first enemy is caffeine. Caffeine is a diuretic, meaning it actively increases urine production. But more importantly, it directly suppresses ADH. Caffeine blocks specific receptors in the hypothalamus, suppressing ADH secretion and simultaneously increasing the rate at which your kidneys filter fluid. This mechanism is well established in pharmacological research. That 4 o'clock coffee, that herbal tea that secretly contains caffeine, that square of dark chocolate after dinner. All of it is working directly against your body's natural nighttime biological system. The second enemy is alcohol. I know this one is uncomfortable, but I would be doing you a genuine disservice if I avoided it. Even 1 glass of wine with dinner measurably suppresses ADH secretion within minutes. Research in renal physiology confirms that alcohol directly inhibits ADH release from the pituitary gland, with effects beginning almost immediately after the first drink enters your bloodstream. What that means practically is this. Alcohol tells your kidneys to keep producing urine even as your body is attempting to wind down for sleep. You fall asleep feeling fine. Then 90 minutes later you're stumbling to the bathroom in the dark. Does that sound familiar? The action step here is straightforward. In the 2 hours before bed, limit yourself to 4 to 6 ounces of plain warm water or a genuinely caffeine-free herbal tea. Chamomile or peppermint are ideal. Time your final beverage at least 2 hours before you intend to sleep. But here is why mistake number 4 is only the 4th most important thing on this list. Even if you do this perfectly, every single night, there are 3 deeper biological forces still working against you. Forces most people have never heard of. Forces that no amount of beverage switching will fix on their own. Stay with me. Mistake 3. Ignoring your kidney's internal clock, 8 to 14:30. Here is something they don't teach you anywhere, and honestly, something even some doctors forget to mention. Your kidneys are not the same organ at 8 in the morning as they are at 8 in the evening. They operate on a circadian rhythm, a built-in biological clock that fundamentally changes how they process fluid depending on what time of day it is. During the daytime, roughly between 6 in the morning and 3 in the afternoon, your kidneys are operating at peak efficiency. Your cortisol levels are elevated. Renal blood flow is optimized. Your body is biologically designed for high-volume fluid processing during these hours. This is when your kidneys want to work hard. Fluid moves through your system efficiently and ends up processed long before bedtime. But as afternoon turns into evening, everything changes. Cortisol drops. ADH rises. Renal blood flow slows. Your kidneys are literally downshifting, preparing for the nighttime rest cycle. They are winding down whether you want them to or not. Here is the problem. Most adults over 60 are doing the exact opposite of what their kidneys need. Think about a typical day. Morning is rushed, coffee counts as hydration. Lunch is busy, maybe a glass of water. By mid-afternoon there's that familiar dry mouth, that slight fatigue, so they drink more. Then, at dinner there's water. Then something warm before bed. Then maybe another glass because they read that you should stay hydrated before sleep. The result is that most of their daily fluid intake lands directly in the window when their kidneys are trying to slow down. They have essentially handed their sleeping kidneys a full workload and then wondered why they can't stay in bed. The leading global body in urology research identifies evening fluid restriction and front-loaded hydration as the single most effective first-line behavioral intervention for nighttime urination, ahead of medication in most cases. Their clinical guidelines make clear that timing matters as much as total volume. The biology is unambiguous. Your kidneys are primed to process fluid efficiently during active daytime hours. Any significant fluid delivered after that window becomes overnight bladder work. Let that sink in. Not less water, just earlier water. I have a patient I'll call Margaret, a 72-year-old retired nurse. She came to me convinced she had a serious bladder condition. She was waking up 3 to 4 times every night. She exercised. She ate well. She managed her health meticulously. But her hydration pattern was what I call back-heavy. Almost nothing in the morning, moderate at lunch, and then significant fluid intake from 5 in the evening onward, because that was when she finally sat down and relaxed for the day. We kept her total daily water intake exactly the same, around 2 liters. We simply moved 65% of it to the morning and early afternoon. We set her fluid cutoff at 7:30 in the evening. Within 4 weeks, she went from 3 or 4 nighttime bathroom trips to 1. Sometimes 0. She told me, "I've been a nurse my whole life and nobody ever told me this." For those of you over 65, this matters even more. Research has confirmed that the circadian rhythm of kidney function weakens with age. The normal pattern of nighttime ADH secretion that suppresses urine production during sleep becomes less robust in older adults. The biological protection against nighttime bathroom trips that younger adults take for granted genuinely diminishes with each decade. That makes your behavioral timing of hydration even more powerful as a compensating strategy. Your practical takeaway: put a large glass of water on your nightstand, but for the morning, not the night. Before coffee, before anything else, drink it. Then sip consistently through the morning. Set a 2 o'clock checkpoint and ask yourself whether you've had most of your water for the day. If not, do it now. After 5 in the evening, you are in taper mode. But even if you do this perfectly, there is a deeper issue that may still be driving your nighttime trips. One that is almost never discussed in mainstream health content. Mistake 2. Your blood vessels are leaking and you don't know it. 1430 to 2100 hours. I want to explain something called vascular permeability. And I promise to make this simple, because understanding this one concept may be the single most important thing you learn today. As we age, the walls of our smaller blood vessels, the capillaries, naturally become more permeable, more leaky, in plain language. And this leakiness has a very specific consequence that almost nobody ever connects to nighttime urination. During the day, when you are upright and moving, fluid constantly leaks out of those small vessels into the surrounding soft tissue, particularly in your legs, your feet, and your lower abdomen. Your body manages this during waking hours through movement and normal circulation. You may notice mild ankle swelling by late afternoon. That is exactly what this looks like from the outside. But here is where it goes wrong at night. The moment you lie down, gravity shifts. That fluid which spent all day quietly pooling in your tissues suddenly has a clear path back into your bloodstream. Your circulation picks it up and delivers it directly to your kidneys. Your kidneys, doing exactly what they are designed to do, filter it and send it to your bladder. The result, you fall asleep feeling completely fine. Then somewhere between 45 minutes and 2 hours after lying down, you have an urgent, pressing need to urinate. Your bladder didn't fill gradually. It was suddenly flooded by that repositioned fluid. Researchers call this nocturnal polyuria driven by positional fluid redistribution. Clinical literature consistently identifies it as the single most common driver of nighttime urination in older adults, accounting for the majority of cases in those over 65. Not a bladder problem, not a prostate problem, not kidney disease. A vascular permeability and fluid redistribution problem. Now here is where it connects directly to two specific hydration habits that dramatically worsen this effect. The first is high sodium intake. Sodium causes your tissues to hold significantly more fluid than they otherwise would. The average adult consumes well above the recommended daily sodium limit, and most people have no idea where it's coming from. It is not the salt shaker. It is bread, canned goods, deli meat, sauces, restaurant food. All of it adds up. And all of it means more fluid trapped in your tissue during the day, and more fluid available to flood your bladder when you lie down at night. The second is afternoon fluid intake. The more fluid you consume in the late afternoon and evening, the more raw material is available for that tissue-level pooling. When you combine evening fluid intake with high sodium and age-related vascular changes, you create a perfect storm that operates completely outside your awareness every single night. A landmark study enrolled over 300 adults with high salt intake and documented nighttime urination. Participants who successfully reduced their daily salt intake saw their nightly bathroom trips drop by nearly 40%. From one dietary change alone. A follow-up study confirmed the biological chain directly. Higher daily salt intake correlated significantly with greater leg fluid accumulation by late afternoon and higher overnight urine volume. Here is what you do. Starting this week, spend 1 week becoming a label reader. Pay attention to the sodium content in your bread, your sauces, your canned products. Aim to get your daily sodium below 2,300 milligrams. And here is a bonus strategy one call the afternoon drain. Sometime between 3 and 5 in the afternoon, before your evening fluid cutoff begins, lie down on your couch or bed with a pillow under your calves. Elevate your legs above the level of your heart. Do this for 20 to 30 minutes. This allows your circulatory system to pull that pooled tissue fluid back into your bloodstream while you are still awake, so your kidneys and bladder can process it during waking hours instead of at 2 in the morning. It sounds almost too simple, but the physiology is solid and the patient results are consistent. I have a patient I'll call Harold, a 78-year-old retired contractor. He had tried medication for nighttime urination for over a year with modest results. When I did a 24-hour urine collection, his nocturnal urine output was 71% of his total daily volume. For context, normal is closer to 30 to 35%. His body was holding fluid all day and releasing nearly all of it at night. We addressed his sodium. He was consuming over 4,000 milligrams daily, mostly from restaurant meals and canned soups. We added the afternoon leg elevation. We adjusted his fluid timing. Within 8 weeks, his nocturnal urine output dropped to 48% of his total. His nightly bathroom trips went from 4 to 1 or 2. His wife told me it saved their marriage. And that is not an exaggeration. Sleep deprivation erodes everything. But as significant as mistake number 2 is, and it is extremely significant, there is one more layer underneath all of this. One more mistake that sits at the very foundation of the problem. And it is the one that most people have never even considered. Mistake 1. The quality of your hydration, the one nobody talks about. 2100 hours, 27 to 30. Here we are. Mistake number 1. And I want to be genuinely honest with you. This is the concept that, in my years of clinical practice, has produced the most dramatic overnight improvements in patients who had already tried everything else and were still struggling. Patients who had fixed their beverage timing, front-loaded their hydration, reduced their sodium, elevated their legs in the afternoon, and were still waking up twice a night. It starts with a question that sounds deceptively simple. When you drink water, does your body actually retain it? Most people assume the answer is obviously yes. If you drink water, your body uses it. But there is a more precise version of this story that has enormous implications for nighttime urination specifically. Here is the reality. Your body does not simply want water. It wants water in a specific biochemical context, specifically water paired with electrolytes, most critically potassium and magnesium, which are essential for your cells to actually absorb and hold fluid. When you drink plain water in large quantities without adequate electrolyte support, your kidneys detect a dilution of your blood's electrolyte concentration and respond by increasing urine output to restore balance. This is a real, documented physiological process called osmotic diuresis. You can drink a full liter of plain water and have a significant portion of it appear in your bladder within 60 to 90 minutes. Not because your bladder is overactive. Not because something is wrong with your kidneys, but because your cells could not absorb the fluid and your kidneys had no choice but to excrete it. Now here is why this matters so much specifically for nighttime urination. Research has consistently confirmed that older adults are at significantly higher risk of magnesium deficiency due to reduced intestinal absorption, age-related changes in how magnesium is stored in bone, and interactions with common medications. Magnesium requirements do not decrease with age, but the body's ability to absorb and retain it does. This gap matters for bladder health in a very specific way. Magnesium helps regulate the detrusor muscle, the muscle that controls bladder contractions. A well-designed clinical trial examining magnesium supplementation in adults with bladder symptoms found that participants taking magnesium reported meaningful improvements in urgency, nighttime urination, and incontinence events at rates more than double those in the placebo group. That is a clinically significant difference driven by correcting a single nutrient deficiency. Let me put this in plain language. Some of you reading this are drinking the right amount of water at the right times. You've already cut back the evening beverages. You've already front-loaded your morning hydration. And your nighttime bathroom trips are still happening. The missing variable may not be behavioral at all. It may be biochemical. Your body literally cannot absorb and retain the fluid you're giving it efficiently enough. And the excess ends up exactly where you don't want it, in your bladder at 2 in the morning. Here is what to do. First, include potassium-rich foods consistently in your daily diet. Bananas, sweet potatoes, avocado, leafy greens. These are not just good general nutrition. They directly support your body's ability to absorb and hold water at the cellular level. Second, look carefully at your magnesium intake. Most adults over 60 are below the recommended daily intake. Dietary sources include pumpkin seeds, almonds, dark leafy greens, and whole grains. Talk to your doctor about whether a magnesium glycinate supplement is appropriate for you. This specific form is the most bioavailable and the least likely to cause digestive discomfort. Third, consider replacing some of your plain water intake with mineral-rich water or adding a small amount of a low-sodium, low-sugar electrolyte powder to your morning hydration. Not a sugary sports drink. A product with real mineral content and minimal additives. Fourth, change how you drink rather than just how much. Instead of drinking a large glass all at once, which spikes your blood's water to electrolyte ratio and triggers the excretion response. Sip smaller amounts consistently throughout the morning. Small, frequent sips give your cells the time they need to actually absorb what you're giving them. I'll tell you about one more patient. I'll call her Evelyn, 81 years old, a retired school teacher. She had done everything right. Fluid cutoff at 7 in the evening. Front-loaded her morning hydration. Reduced her sodium significantly. Added the afternoon leg elevation. She went from 5 nighttime trips down to 2, which was real improvement, but she was still waking up and she was still frustrated. When I ran a comprehensive metabolic panel, her magnesium was sitting at the very bottom of the normal range. Technically normal, but functionally inadequate for optimal cellular hydration and bladder muscle regulation. We added dietary magnesium sources and a low-dose magnesium glycinate supplement under medical supervision. Within 6 weeks, Evelyn went from 2 nighttime voids to 0 or 1 on most nights. At 81 years old, she looked at me and said, "I have not slept this well since I was in my 40s. That is what becomes possible when you address all 4 layers together. The complete summary and action plan, 27:30, 30:00. Let me pull this all together for you clearly. Mistake number 4. The wrong beverages. Caffeine and alcohol in the evening suppress the hormone that tells your kidneys to slow down at night, keeping them in full production mode when they should be resting. Fix. Eliminate caffeine after 2 in the afternoon and avoid alcohol within 3 hours of sleep. Mistake number 3. Ignoring your kidney's internal clock. Drinking the majority of your fluid in the afternoon and evening, right when your kidneys are biologically winding down, instead of front-loading your hydration in the morning when your body is built to process it. Fix. Drink 60 to 70% of your daily water before 2 in the afternoon and taper sharply after 5. Mistake number 2. The silent fluid redistribution problem. High sodium diet and afternoon inactivity allow fluid to accumulate in your leg tissue throughout the day, then flood your bladder the moment you lie down at night. Fix. Reduce daily sodium below 2,300 milligrams and practice 20 to 30 minutes of leg elevation between 3 and 5 in the afternoon. Mistake number 1. The quality of your hydration. Drinking plain water in large quantities without adequate electrolyte support means your body excretes more than it absorbs, driving unnecessary kidney activity, regardless of everything else you're doing correctly. Fix. Increase potassium and magnesium through diet. Consider magnesium glycinate under medical guidance and sip water consistently in small amounts rather than drinking large volumes at once. These 4 mistakes compound each other. They work together against you. And the good news is that correcting them together creates an improvement that no single medication or single behavioral change can typically match on its own. You do not need surgery. You do not need expensive treatments. You need accurate information about how your body actually works after 60. And now you have it. Your body is not broken. It is not failing you randomly. It has been operating under a set of conditions that were quietly working against it, and now you understand exactly what those conditions are and exactly what to do about them. Go back to the beginning if you need to. Take notes on the specific action steps in each section. Start with whichever mistake feels most relevant to your life right now. Then layer in the others one by one. And share this with someone you care about, a spouse, a parent, a friend who has been losing sleep night after night and doesn't understand why. The information belongs with them. I'll see you in the next one. End card. Comment CTA. Out of these 4 mistakes, which one hit closest to home for you? Drop it in the comments below. I read every single one.